What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Bon Jovi. And we're returning to a selection, a suite of Bon Jovi tracks that Michaela has provided, and she's also shared some proper albums, so we'll go through those once we finish these collection of tunes, or this collection of tunes, to conjugate my words correctly. But the next track is My Guitar Bleeds in My Arms. Am I remembering that correctly? It lies bleeding. So My Guitar Lies Bleeding in My Arms, which is from 1995. Make sure I have that right as well. So yes, it's a very interesting title. It seems to, if not exactly personify, anthropomorphize a guitar. A guitar does not have organs or blood. But the idea of a guitar being wounded or perhaps dying in someone's arms is a very evocative image. Of course, there are times where in real life, unfortunately, but also in movies and novels and TV shows, someone dies in another person's arms, which suggests a degree of emotional connection or interpersonal association, although I suppose a stranger could die in your arms, though it is a very caring gesture at a time of the most extreme peril. So yes, I wonder whether the guitar has been injured or whether it has given all of its energy and life and thus is bleeding because it has expended itself for the sake of guitar shredding or indeed for music more generally. So I do wonder the essence of the phrase, whether it's just a starting point or a reference within a larger story about either playing or composing music or expressing one's creativity through the instrument of a guitar, or whether it's more a visual image meant to convey a larger story. I'll see what I can catch on the first listen. This is Bon Jovi. The tune is My Guitar Lies Bleeding in My Arms. The train is also very interested. And this is from 1995.
Misery likes company. I like the way that sounds. I've been trying to find the meaning so I can write it down. Staring out the window, it's such a long way down. I like to jump, but I'm afraid to hit the ground. How can I write a love song the way I feel today? And I can't sing no song of hope. I've got nothing to say. Life is feeling kinda strange since you went away. I sing this song to you wherever you are, as my guitar lies bleeding in my arms. Tired of watching TV, it makes me want to scream. Outside the world is burning, man, that's so hard to believe. It's a day you know you're dying, from the cradle to the grave. I get so numb sometimes that I just feel the pain. I can't write a love song the way I feel today. I can't sing no song of hope. I've got nothing to say. Life is feeling kinda strange. It's strange enough these days. I send this song to you wherever you are, as my guitar lies bleeding in my arms.
That's brilliant in every way. Okay, so first of all, the guitar performance, which I think there are multiple guitars overlapping at some different points, but it's everywhere from soft and melodic and ballad-like to bluesy and full of pain and suffering, which certainly comes through in regard to the lyrics as well, but all the way on up to absolutely metal style, or at least hard rock style shredding. So from the softest and most subtle and melodic guitar playing to a deeply felt, if still somewhat mellow and groovy style of guitar, right on up to solo hard rock style guitar work, that's just an incredible guitar track, even before we get to the vocals and the lyrics and just the overall progression of the tune, because it really did start subtly, build to another level, build to an even higher level, crescendo, and then come back down and a little bit of a bluesy coda right at the end. So in terms of the composition, I love the individual sections, but also the progression, the chronology of the track. So compositionally, just a fantastic tune, and guitar performance-wise, a really engaging and multi-flavored dynamic over the course of the track. So then the lyrics, it sounds like most fundamentally he is someone who's heartbroken, someone who has left him, and since then he can't really put back the pieces together. He can't find love to be creative. You know, the idea of writing a love song, normally, or at least with the experience of being in love, you could probably get something on the paper and, you know, tap into that type of human emotion pretty easily, but he's in a state where he can't really do that, and it's in part because how do you feel the essence of a love song if you're as downtrodden, crestfallen, and heartbroken as he seems to be? But it also seems like more than that. He talked about like looking out the window, and now that can be like, you know, you're trying to see, if not exactly literally, the person who's left your life, and you're scanning the world and they're not there, and that's just reminding you of the state you're now in. But it almost felt like he's saying, you know, beyond just my own personal suffering, there's not a lot of love out there to draw inspiration from. The world seems pretty harsh and brutal and cold, and so even if I were not in this particular personal situation, I can't write a love song today. I don't see any love or hope out there. You know, not up here, not out there, not here, not in the papers. At first I thought he was saying paper, like he's, you know, reading about the brutality of life as reported by newspapers. But then I realized he's talking about like writing paper, like lyrics that he's trying to write down, but nothing's coming. He can't put anything on the page. So in advance, I considered the idea of this being about the creative process, and it is, but in a heavy emotional dynamic. It's the way in which personal experience and feeling can stifle or lead to writer's block when it comes to that creative process. So it's not just this disconnected abstract, well, I have my normal life and now I have my creative life, and even though this isn't going that great, I can still just put anything on the page because that's what we artists do, right? It's like, no, if you're in a certain way, that's going to make it hard to write about hope and love if you're not feeling it. So yeah, a cleverly written song with a bit of like meta reference. Obviously, it's a song about songwriting. It's a guitar heavy piece about how a guitar is bleeding in your arms and thus is feeling what you are. It's an extension or expression of the heartbreak and the wounding that you felt. So just really cleverly written. And then we get the vocals, which again, like the guitar and the song overall, it starts at a certain level, soft, you can feel the pain, a bit of scratch in a couple points, but then it goes to a secondary level and, you know, you can feel the emotion welling up and the inability to articulate love, but instead a bluesy type of, you know, downtrodden, the world and this person have sort of turned against me, abandoned me, I'm here on my own, you know, crying out to the world. And then it goes to an even higher level of that, and by the end, he's not only shouting, belting out that pain and that suffering, and ironically, through that, writing a really compelling song about heavy emotion and love, or the absence of it, but then that extension, which it was going for a little while, and then it seemed to flare up even more, and then continue. So I don't think there was actually a breath that was taken, but he actually, in the middle of an extension, ramped it up and then continued the extension, which is not something you hear often, even among great singers. So just a brilliant tune. 3 for 3. I'm absolutely loving the Bon Jovi journey, and I'm very happy that we have more to go through. So thank you again to Michaela. Thank you to a handful of folks who already commented on the first couple Bon Jovi reactions and were enthusiastic about the idea of more. There's definitely more coming. Let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.